What's going on, everybody? John with Bull-Throttle Trading here. Today I wanted to make a video talking about a few stocks that I've been keeping an eye on that kind of have the most to get back, right? So we had this big drop in the market because of the coronavirus, and there are certain industries that got hit harder than others due to stay-at-home orders. And the reason why I wanted to do this video today was because in the news today I heard in the state of Ohio that they are lifting the stay-at-home order. So, things are starting to come back. They're starting to reopen everything. So in light of that, I wanted to talk about these stocks that, because of their industry, they dropped, and with the stay-at-home order, they don't really have a whole lot to do until these stay-at-home orders are lifted. So, the biggest ones that I've been keeping tabs on basically are airlines and cruise lines. So these are, with stay-at-home orders, these businesses obviously aren't doing a whole lot. And their stocks have dropped a lot, which means that they have the most margin to gain back, right? So these are going to be stocks that are going to be a longer-term swing trade. But ways to build capital, right? So overall, these are going to be things that we want to start paying attention to now. As more and more states start to lift their stay-at-home orders, then we're going to start to see a lot of these industries starting to come back, right? Obviously, they've been hurting because of the market and because of these stay-at-home orders, and they're doing everything that they can. They're just waiting to reopen. And I know there's been a couple of cruise lines that have been planning on reopening in June, and they're offering amazing discounts to kind of boost their business back up. So again, today's video is just kind of showing you some of these stocks that I've been keeping an eye on, and going over why I see such value in them. So if you guys are ready, let's jump on in. Alright, so the first stock that I have on my list here is American Airlines. So as we can see, after the coronavirus outbreak, huge drop, and we've kind of been bouncing around this support, right? So we've been around $8.25. And we could see we had this window here before. So I'm going to draw some lines here. So roughly we can see that we were trading in between these two lines, right? So we have a lot of margin to try to recover when this all starts to come back, right? So we can see here we're looking at about a 61% margin to returning back to the previous support level, right? So this is obviously a huge opportunity that, again, once we start to see airlines coming back, they're going to gain all this back, right? Now, it's probably not going to happen immediately. So, again, this is why I say that this is more long-term swing trading. It's just, again, this is an industry that once airfare starts getting popular again and people start traveling a lot, which, we can expect after everybody being locked at home for so long that, once they're able to start traveling, whether it be for work or for vacation or whatever, there's probably going to be this huge boom in this, right? So, again, now this could take time to get back up, but we know, okay, long term, that we have a potential for this 61% margin, right? So we want to be able to, again, wait for that confirmation. I'm not saying that we want to buy into this just yet, right? We want to wait until we start seeing this, break above this SMA line, right? And we're starting to get good news. Again, I mentioned that the state of Ohio is lifting their stay-at-home orders. So more states are going to start doing this. There may already be more that have already done so, but we're starting to see things open back up, right? So we want to make sure that we pay attention and keep an eye on what these stocks are doing. And again, we're looking for long-term swing trades on these, so the potential for a large margin, right? I mean, if we start to see, American Airlines climbing back up, we can, day trade on those if you're a day trader as well, because again, now we're going to start having a trend that's upward, right? But again, this is also something that we can kind of enter for more of a long term as well, and try to, gain some capital, right? So of course, the next one that I have on my list is Southwest Airlines. So same kind of a deal. Now we saw that we had this support here. You can see I had this line drawn already, and we dipped below that, and we're starting to approach this previous support, right? Which is now our new resistance. We've created a new support down here. So again, we want to wait and start to see, excuse me, start to see this SMA line start to plateau out, and start to see price action trading above this SMA line, right? And when we see that, that's going to give us good indication that we're now starting our uptrend. So we could see, like, when we had this breakup here, we were still below the SMA line. Same here, and we were still in this downtrend. And that makes sense because, again, the stay-at-home orders hadn't been lifted. People are not traveling. So, again, even though we have these pumps, there could have been some good news or business strategy. I'm not sure what caused all these, but we can see that it was still a steady decline. And now we're starting to get much closer to this SMA line. And again, we're waiting for that confirmation. So let's see, from right now to where we were trading at, we're looking at about a 45% margin on Southwest Airlines. So again, this is another one that we definitely want to keep an eye on and wait for that confirmation. And again, going into this on more of a long-term swing trade. We know, again, that this has a lot to recover. So this is why I have it in this video, right? All right. So the next two that I have, the next one that I have is Carnival Cruise Line, right? So same thing, just like airfare or airlines, with stay-at-home orders, these obviously are not recovering yet, right? So we've established a pretty strong support here, right? So we've kind of been bouncing right here around this line, and we can see Carnival has had some news about a week or two ago that I saw that they're planning on reopening back up and shipping out again in June, right? And the way things are going, things are starting to open up, so it's looking like that's probably, going to be something that has a good chance of actually working out, right? So looking at this, we can see our SMA line has already kind of started to plateau, which is a good sign that we're kind of confirming this support, right? We're confirming that we've kind of hit the bottom, right? Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that, this or any of these other stocks can keep dipping. Again, nothing is guaranteed. We're just going based off of what's happening in the news and what makes sense, right? So with Carnival planning on reopening back up in June, we can see that the margin that they offer to get back to this previous support is about 225%, let's call it. So this is a huge margin to recover, right? So this is definitely one that we want to pay attention to, right? So again, let's think in terms of a lot of the people who lost money on the stock market, whether it be their 401ks or all these things that they were holding for a long time, all right? We're now starting to approach the reversal of that, right? So we can see, Carnival, they had this, let me get rid of this. All right, so we had a support around $40 and we had a resistance around $50, right? And we were trading around there, and then we had this big drop. All right, so now we have this over 200%, 225% margin to recover, right? So again, this for a long-term swing trade, if things go as planned and they do open up in June and they start, sailing again, and more of these stay-at-home orders become lifted and more people start traveling again, then we're going to start to begin this recovery process, right? And with something with a 225% margin of growth, this is obviously a good opportunity that we want to pay attention to, right? We don't want to miss out on this. So again, we'll keep an eye on this. Do your part at setting your alerts and paying attention with the news, but be aware that, you know, there is a lot of margin on Carnival to gain back. And then the last one that I have on here is Royal Caribbean Cruises. So same kind of story, right? We have this support. Let's see, if we want to go down here, about $100 to about $135, right? So this is the window that we were trading in before the coronavirus. And then obviously we had a big drop. And same thing. So we can see now that we're starting to, we're starting to plateau. And one of the things that we want to pay attention to here, we have an earnings statement coming out, right? And this is on May 20th. So we want to pay attention. Now, obviously, with the way things have been going, we can assume that it's not going to be the greatest earnings statement, which may cause another pullback here, right? But we have a pretty well confirmed support level here around $33. So, you know, we might see a pullback to here after this earnings, but again, it's looking at the big picture. Same thing with Carnival. If people are going to start traveling more, they're going to be able to start recovering. So looking at where they are now and where they could be, we're looking at about 140% margin for recovery, right? So again, this is a very large number that we want to be made aware of, right? So that's the point of these videos. I want you guys to be aware of, you know, a lot of people are looking for these swing opportunities, and it makes sense. You know, when you have a big crash in the stock market, especially one by a pandemic, right? It happened very, very quickly, and a lot of people lost a lot of money. But at the same time, when we start to get past this, it's very quickly going to recover again, right? Like it makes sense. So we're going to be able to pay attention and start to see this recovery come back. And with margins like 140%, 225%, these are things that we want to know that they exist, right? So when we start to see this recovery, we have a good understanding of where we could put our money to see a very impactful return. We're all in this, as traders, we're here to trade money, we're here to trade to make money. So we want to pay attention to these things and know where these big opportunities are. So that was the purpose of this video. It was to give you guys a few of the stocks that I see that have the most to get back, right? They lost the most and they have the most to get back. These are companies that they're larger companies. They've been surviving through this pandemic, and now as things are starting to open back up, they have the most to gain back. So we want to, pay attention to this and do our part at, adding these to our watch list. Keep an eye on them. Listen to what's happening in the news and be able to find a good entry point and a good exit point and roughly a time period that we feel comfortable holding this. So, we want to make sure if we're going to throw some money in this, we understand how long it's going to take to get that money back, right? So again, just wanted to give you guys an idea of where to start looking, where I see a big value, and I hope that you guys got value out of this as well. So please, if you did, hit that like and subscribe button and help support me in being able to make more of these videos to help you guys out. And on that, I hope you guys all end today on a green note, and I'll see you next time.